As of now, many people understand that there are primarily two goals of deep learning. One is to replace or minimize mental labor, and the second is to aid human decision making. Now, in around the 1800s, people or we ourselves were the main energy to achieve most of the things in the world, particularly things like here plowing or anything related to agriculture and things like that. And in 1800s, in the Industrial Revolution, we started using these mechanical devices primarily to reduce human physical labor. So this industrial revolution in a way minimized or reduced physical labor and took it away from us such that we could now focus on mental things and other things that were not physically laborious. Now, the goal of deep learning, the first goal of deep learning is to minimize mental labor. Here's an example of mental labor. So at the beginning, when we learn to drive, driving is difficult, but once we know how to drive, driving is monotonous. It's laborious and it's mentally laborious. It's not challenging to us once we know how to drive very well. So the goal of deep learning is to automate all the mental labor process, automate this so that we don't have to do mental labor and we can do creative things. Now, when we say, many people use the word replace, and this is actually many AI people also use, but deep learning cannot completely replace all mental labor. So if we say, for example, required maybe 10,000 radiologists to detect, let's say, diseases from X-rays, then maybe we will only require 1,000. Those who will not just check how the deep learning models are doing, but also work side by side with them. So in a way, in general, it's to minimize the mental labor and the number of people actually doing mental labor. The next goal of deep learning is to aid decision making. Many people think that all the decision making process will be done by AI in the future. But there are a lot of risks in only having AI or deep learning to make decisions. So if we let AI completely make decisions, then AI we can have a lot of issues. For example, who becomes responsible when AI makes a mistake type issues. So the purpose of AI is to actually aid the decision-making process of a human. For example, say a judge is about to make a decision for a case, right? Then what the AI system can do is look at all the case details and come up with many possible explanations about the positive things, the negative things, many of the things that the judge may have ignored or overlooked. Say, for example, many of the predictions that the AI system could make by looking at the case. So all of these things, in a way, help the judge make more accurate or more correct decision on a case. So that's the goal. That's the next goal of deep learning.